What's up guys, I'm back like I never left. In this video, we're going to be talking about the major SPAC companies like LCA, Diamond Peak Holdings, Ipob, SBE. I'm going to cover the majority of the companies in this video. We're going to be looking at exactly what to expect for these companies moving forward. And I'm going to cover some important strategies you can use that we can apply for this specific company. So I'm going to cover all this important information coming up. Before we get into the video, I appreciate if you can hit the like button. If you have any questions, any comments, make sure you drop in the comment section below. The first company that we're going to be looking at is going to be Spaq. As you can see, the stock is just going to the downside for the past 7 days. It's been aggressively selling off to the downside. And today also added another 7.94% to the downside. So we also talked about yesterday about Diamond Peak Holdings. The stock sold off minus 10.95% to the downside. So there could potentially be more room for this company to go to the downside. So you have to be super careful. The ticker symbol is going to be changing within the next few days, probably like a Monday or Tuesday, and we might see some sell-off happening. So the first price target for this company, if it aggressively sells off to the downside, it could potentially go to $15. And if there's aggressive sell-off, and if things just continue to get out of control, it can go back to $10. So if you're somebody that got involved in it at like $25 or $31, you're going to be down significantly. So in order for you to protect your portfolio, you can use options. You can buy a few put options depending upon how many shares that you have. So let's say you have 100 shares, you can buy one put option contract. If you have 1,000 shares, you can buy 10 option contracts. That can at least help you mitigate some of the losses that you're going to be incurring for the next few days. So be super careful also if you want to get involved in this short term. So also if you want to short this company, you can buy put options, but I don't recommend that because things can change really drastically within a matter of seconds depending upon how the overall market does. And if they announce any kind of news also, this can potentially really hurt you. So I do not recommend that you do that. But of course, you can definitely short and take advantage of it by using put options. So also when you look at Lancadian Holdings, is the same thing. These SPAC companies aggressively selling off to the downside. They could potentially go, the short-term price target for LCAs potentially can go to $10, or it can definitely stop the bleeding at $11.46. So there's going to be a lot of volatility expected for the next few days, for the next few weeks, depending upon how the elections unfold. So this is not looking good for these majority SPAC companies because they already started their sell-off early. So we never know what their bottom is. All we can do is just really manage your portfolio and protect yourself if you have a lot of positions and shares within these companies. So the other company that we talked about was Tattoo Chef, ticker symbol TTCF. This is the day that the merger was finalized and the stock has aggressively sold off to the downside. There can be more room to the downside depending upon what happens to the overall market. So the price target for this company is going to be $12 if it aggressively sells off to the downside. If it could consolidate at $18, that will be great, but it's more than likely going to sell off in the short term. So as I mentioned, definitely use put options if you aggressively bought this company and you don't want to incur a lot of losses. You can do that to protect your portfolio. So the other company that we talked about was Ipob. This is a company that's going to be doing a merger with Open Door. ARK Invest has been aggressively buying this company. At least that is going to be something that is positive for this specific merger happening pretty soon. And if the stock could potentially go to the downside aggressively, they can come and buy more shares to it. And we have institutions that are buying it. Not only ARK Invest, other institutions also bought it. So that is a good thing to look at right now in the short term, but the overall trend is to the downside for the majority of these SPACs. So expect sell-off to happen in the short term, depending upon how things unfold with the elections. So another company that did a merger was Multi-Plan Corporation. This stock just got beaten down to the downside. It went way below the $10 SPAC price over here and is currently trading at $7.73. It's been aggressively selling off for the past few weeks. This is following the overall trend of these SPAC companies. Another company that went public by doing a reverse merger was Graph, ticker symbol VLDR. This sold off. This is exactly when the merger was finalized, and as you can see, the stock's been trending lower and lower. It's just going down to the downside. There can be more room for it to potentially crack down over here, go to $10, depending upon how things unfold. But this is the overall trend for these SPACs. Another company that's doing relatively good is going to be SBE, which is Switchback Energy Acquisitions Corporation. The stock actually is holding some of the gains that it had for the past few days, for the past few weeks. Initially it broke out of the $14 and it hit a 52-week high of $17. It's relatively closer to the 52-week highs than the lows. So that is one thing that's super positive about this company. The short-term price target for this company, if aggressive sell-off happens, is going to be the support area around $14 to $13.90 area. So watch out for these price points. And the other company that we talked about also is going to be Kingston Capital. This stock was also just slowly bleeding out to the downside. So be super careful. It could potentially hit the lows of like $10 within the next few days. And when you look at the overall Spaq ETF, this is ticker symbol SPAQ. It contains the majority of the companies that we just talked about. It's just showing that the overall trend is to the downside, and it's been aggressively selling off to the downside significantly. So this is really not looking good. And also we know that there's going to be huge market volatility and uncertainty coming up pretty soon due to the elections. That is also not going to help the majority of the companies that we talked about. So if you're aggressively invested in these companies, one of the main things that you can do, as I mentioned, is to hedge your portfolio. Or if you're somebody that believes in some of the companies that I talk about, you can buy the discount. This is a really great discount opportunity if you are playing for the long term. But I highly suggest that you hedge your positions and really brace for some aggressive sell-off to happen, maybe continuation to happen. Things are not looking good for the next few weeks, so the market volatility can pick up. And if the overall stock market just starts to, sell off due to elections, these companies are going to get beat down again. So that's not going to be looking good. But if you're somebody that are aware of this information and you know exactly what to do, or you expect the huge sell-off to happen, you can just hold through it, play for the long term. And that is going to also help you have a peace of mind, understanding that, hey, the sell-off is expected. This is not a surprise. So you don't have to really worry about that. So also when you look at another ETF, which is SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF. So we expect the stock market to be volatile in the next few days, next few weeks. You never know. There's a lot of uncertainty going on with the stimulus package and also the elections coming up pretty soon. So everything goes smooth. We can potentially see a high of around 360 to retest this 52-week high of $358.75. And if things starts to sell off aggressively, we can potentially see the retest of the $330 over here. And we can even see more sell-off that could potentially take us to 320. So that is the worst case scenario we expect for the next few days, for the next few weeks, depending upon how things unfold. But there's a lot of uncertainty going on. The stock market just keep going up and down, depending upon what the stimulus talks are moving forward or moving backwards. And we'll see how things unfold. But be super careful. It's very choppy markets right now. If you have any questions, any comments, make sure you drop in the comment section below. If you want to join the Discord chat or sign up for Webull or join the Patreon page, the link's available in the description box. I'll catch you guys on tomorrow's video. Have a wonderful day.